Hey, looking at the AL West, who worries you most?
I think the Rangers are real. I still, I know they're atop of the division, but and it's crazy to say that for, in a way, how offensively they haven't really performed. But you're not that far away. You're not that far removed from a World Series. So that's the team that I still think is like the favorite of the division at this moment. And knowing the amount of moves that they are willing to make and money they're willing to spend, it feels that if they're close, they're going to go all in. So that's the team that comes to mind. And I always look at Las Vegas A's, right? Of a team that's just scrappy. And it's like, I just look back from when I was playing to now, it's like the team is still got a bunch of scrappy little ball players, and you can run into them at the wrong time and they'll beat you. So, those are the two teams. I'm not too worried about the Angels. They really haven't shown anything good, in my opinion. And the Astros, whatever. Who cares about the Astros?
Yeah.
I mean,
they're always there, though.
What are the chances, though? Like, was it on purpose? Like, they decided to just break one of the starters' hands in the outfield in batting practice the other day? What are the chances that happens?
Yeah,
That's pretty good, right? Take down the competition inadvertently,
I'm loath to count out the Astros because of our years of trying to count out the Patriots. It's like when you thought they were down, they just found a way. Mariners had a 10-game lead on them last year. We saw what happened. I acknowledge they don't look the same. They got off to a horrible start last year too. So they kind of need to be dead and buried before I can say they're dead and buried.
No, I get that.
Bob wants them to be good so he can continue hating them.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is.
Right?
Yeah.
It
is fun, though, to hate them.
You want them to be just good enough to hate them?
Because the Mariners have never really had a rival. That, certainly fans will isolate players or teams that they hate. But just like we always bring up the 49ers and the Seahawks. That was legit sports fans hating each other and sports hate.
Yeah.
Mariners have never had that. Yeah. So this whole Astros thing, the Mariners were good. They were winning. They won 90 games back-to-back seasons. They got to the playoffs once. They lose to the Astros. That rivalry is fun. It makes it fun. So I want to keep that hate alive.
I am all for it. But you're not the only one. I think everyone in the league, in a lot of ways, hates the Astros.
Oh yeah.
It's doing something so terrible. It's like everyone is against the Astros, right? I mean, so. Well, let's keep hating on them.
Because you talk about like sign stealing in football a little bit and everything. That's so much different than what this was. I mean, that's the biggest mystery in sports is what pitch is coming next, right? I mean, you could even know what somebody's going to run offensively. You still got to stop it and all that. But knowing what pitch is coming, I mean, that's the biggest cheat code ever, right?
Absolutely. I always say I would rather have faced a lineup full of guys on steroids than anyone that knew what was coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It completely takes away from everything. It's like, okay, if you know what I'm going to throw, then why are we playing this game? I'm just throwing batting practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's just terrible. Let's stick it to the Stros as much as we can.
Okay. Yeah. Keep it alive.
I'm all for that.
Bob's done his part. I'll tell you that much.
Let's go.
That's funny that you had that, your impression of the A's, because ever since, we've been doing this show and long before, it just seems like the A's never took anything seriously, and they just were like a bunch of cheapskates and weren't going to pay their guys, weren't going to put any money, invest in the team. Yet you saw them as this scrappy bunch of dudes that could beat you at any point.
It was tough. I mean, and they've made the playoffs a couple times, right? Like they sneak in and they kind of wreak havoc in a lot of ways, and they find value in players that you just don't think are going to be very good. And then when the season ends, you go, that guy's pretty good. Like that guy had a good year. And you can see it from an offensive standpoint to a pitching standpoint where they, I think the Mariners do a good job too in that sense where they find value in players that, most people would look at and say, oh, we're going to write this guy off. He's not going to have a good year this year. He's had a bad year last year. So seeing how they operate, I think it's been a lot for the Mariners to kind of sit back and watch, but I would imagine that they're trying to play a little bit of similar philosophy. Like, how can we get the most bang for our buck with the resources we have? So that's why I think they do a good job of finding guys that can be scrappy and put a team that's not that bad out there, you know.
Yeah.
And you think they'd be like terrible based on how they operate, but for whatever reason, you know, they're still a big league club and they can take you down.
Playing in a minor league stadium.
I know. Yeah.
I saw somebody's some cell phone footage the other day. There were tens of people there.
Tens.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was pretty sparse.
It's going to be a tough place to pitch this summer too, right? I mean, middle of Sacramento or middle of summer in Sacramento is going to be scorching.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very similar to the Pacific Coast League, which is historically a hard place to pitch and a good place to hit. So
could be a launching pad out there.
Yeah, and honestly, that could just be a good thing for the Mariners in the division is that they're not playing in Oakland, which Oakland had the biggest foul territory.
Yeah.
Right? Like the foul territory outside the first and third baseline was massive, and that's partly due to the dual sports stadium it was. But taking that away and taking that those cold nights in Oakland away, and you're now you're in the middle of Central California and it's going to be high 90s and scorching. So that really could affect what their team looks like in the second half more so than the first half.